Hello and welcome everyone to the third in our series of webinars focusing in on ClickDimensions. This time we want to look at marketing metrics and how ClickDimensions and Microsoft Dynamics CRM can work together to provide more meaning from data. And I know that if you're anything like me, working with the likes of Google Analytics and numbers of other tools and trying to pull all this together into something that can be actionable is often a challenge. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to share with you today some useful tips and tools from the ClickDimensions toolkit. I'll just move on to the next slide. My name's Mark Britton. I'm the head of marketing for Crimson. And one second, why is this not working? Okay. With me, I have Dan Gadd, once again, Senior Partner Account Manager for ClickDimensions. Welcome again, Dan.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
So Dan has been sharing with us loads of useful tips around ClickDimensions over the last couple of weeks. And Dan, I think you've got some bits and pieces to share with us today around how ClickDimensions can help with metrics.
Absolutely. So the goal for today is to help quantify that marketing data. If you want me to kick off.
Yep, great. I'll hand over to you now.
Sure.
So
awesome. So
all yours.
Appreciate it, Mark. Thanks. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and just to recap quickly for y'all, this is our feature set. So we have that email marketing piece, which we covered, the forms, surveys, landing pages, campaign automation. So we went through a couple different feature sets the past couple sessions here. But what I want to focus on is once you started deploying these different feature sets out there, so again, the emails, the surveys, the forms, where are these metrics coming back into? How are they being hosted, and why is this important? And so when we really go ahead and look at that flow, we talked about the awareness, we talked about that research and evaluation. We're assuming they purchased, but why and how are we retaining them for loyalty, right? So you want to bring that full customer experience together into one cohesive unit and to be able to quantify that data. At the end of the day, and I might have mentioned this in the last session, is and actually I know I did because I told Mark about it, and he agreed with me, is marketing team is the last to get hired and first get fired. For whatever reason, that's the case. And as that case may be, we want to be able to prove the efforts of the marketing team to make sure that your CEOs, your CFOs understand here's the value we're bringing, here's a quantified material for that, and why we're doing our job, maybe the sales team's not doing theirs or whatever it might be. And that's not to pose you against the sales team or a sales team against marketing team, but it's just to keep everybody in check and say, hey, here's the concrete evidence, here's the data. We need to go take a look at another part of the business rather than marketing team. So what we're going to focus on today is the data from forms, the data from surveys. We looked at email analytics before, and how you can see that against the contact record as well as against a full CRM campaign. Now, one thing I do want to preface, I'm definitely not a CRM expert above and beyond. My focus is obviously the marketing automation, the ISV side of things. If you want to see really the power of the analytics more in depth, highly recommend reaching out to Crimson. Going through maybe Power BI, going through dashboards, really showing how you can view these different pieces. There's some really cool things you can do with data within CRM. So what we'll do is we'll hop into my production environment. Now, the key thing to remember about ClickDimensions, if you haven't seen the last couple sessions, is ClickDimensions is native inside of CRM, meaning everything updates in real time. So say, for example, we sent out an email. In real time, we're going to bring that data back in for you. So opens, clicks, bounces, unsubscribes, etc. It's immediately pushed back into CRM. It syncs with your metadata, so any custom fields that need to be updated, they're updated. All the different pieces of information are brought back into CRM. You don't have to manually do anything, and now it just gives you the chance to go ahead and take a look at that data and really understand what's being effective, what's not. Are we hitting our KPIs? Is that ROI there? All those different pieces, and what can we do to adjust to do better? So again, in my previous session, we've talked about the email marketing statistics. We highlighted the web tracking statistics. Let's talk about the survey and form statistics real quickly. So with forms and surveys of ClickDimensions, you do have builders within the ClickDimensions designer. So they are both drag and drop. You can create any custom form field that you'd like, any custom survey question that you'd like, publish it, and you can get that data back in real time. It's not going to be an email notification of statistics to you, rather it's going to go directly back into CRM. So if you want to see that particular functionality in full, again, reach out to Crimson, let's organize a demo. We'll do a full feature set for you. That being said, when you publish your forms and your surveys, we get that data back in real time. So if we go into ClickDimensions here, you can see posted forms. These are all the forms that are being submitted in real time. So if the form is submitted and they're new to CRM, it creates that lead. So we want to qualify, make sure it's a real person, not that it's Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, whatever it might be. We want to make sure it's a real person, and we'll qualify that into a contact. Once a contact, as you can see here, it just updates that record every single time they come back in. So if we look at Christina here, who's one of my colleagues, today's July 12th at 7:36 a.m. local to me, she submitted this last ebook. So it gives us all that information, and it's going to update all of the information that she submitted in real time. So if we go back into that posted form piece, we can go ahead and click through to this, and we can see exactly what she filled out. And so we can see what she's agreeing to, what information she's putting in. So in this case, where we're located in Georgia, in the United States, the email address, all those different pieces, you can have that update in real time for us, or into your contact record. So you know what company, the first name, last name, email address, all that basic information for you to reach out and make that initial contact from a sales perspective. So that's really quite nice. And we're going to take a look at this in a Serum campaign as well. That being said, before we do, we want to look at surveys just in comparison. So surveys are going to display very similar. If they're a contact, it'll show up here. If they're not, it'll show up as a lead. Now, in this case, we're not going to qualify this person because we don't even have a real name here. But that being said, we can go ahead and see what people are submitting on these different surveys. So in this case, this person filled out our customer experience or UX experience study and what they submitted. Now, if we want to look at different survey questions, we can go ahead or survey answers, I should say. We can see survey answers, and this gives us an aggregate of all active survey answers that are being submitted. Now, rather than doing that, we can go and create advanced finds in CRM to see exactly what people are putting in as answers. This is great. When I go ahead and I ask a prospect or a partner, whatever it might be, what's your net promoter score? The vast majority of people do not have the answer for me, and that's fine. But a lot of marketing teams, a lot of teams in general do not run that net promoter score piece, so they really don't know what people think about them. They just assume, hey, they're buying the product. That's great. Well, we ran our own net promoter score because we had the same assumption. We assumed, hey, everybody's enjoying the academy, everybody's enjoying the training, and what we come to find out once we ran that net promoter score is the partners who are more technically inclined really did enjoy the academy. It was, a little more in depth. It talked through all the different features. We didn't have to go step by step too much of them because they could fill in the blanks. Whereas the customers had a lower net promoter score on our academy because it was too in depth and not enough high level step by step. So we took that information and we reworked our entire onboarding process to make sure that it was more non-technical friendly, more marketing heavy, so that you can really understand why there's a value there and what we're doing. And so again, we're a marketing company ourselves. We weren't using a net promoter score. We started to use it and it helped us adjust. So this is where you can get those survey answers and really start breaking down that information. You can start quantifying whether it be marketing data, how effective are we marketing to you, or as how is your full experience of purchasing? What can we do better for you? So for example, we have our onboarding survey ratings. So this is our onboarding team that we've put in place now. How would you rate your onboarding? Now, if we want to go ahead and break this out into charts, we can do that. And we can see the questions that we've asked and what the average rating is on those. So you can see our onboarding has a nice high average rating of 8 for each one of these. But we know we're doing a good job with this. Now, if one was skewed and it was lower at 4 or 3, we need to go ahead and look at that process and see, okay, how can we do this better? So that's just a quick view of the surveys and really how you can go ahead and elaborate that. Now, if we go and take that a step further and say, okay, we want to look at dashboards. Now, beyond the surveys and forms, just full analytic dashboards, I want to show you a couple of examples of what you can do. So if we go in here and we say, okay, I want to see how our forms are doing. So web activity based on forms. How many forms are being submitted? What forms are working? What forms are not? So in this case, in the last 6 months, we've had different spikes of active posted forms. So let's go with that blueprint one. Every week through 2018, we can see how many forms were being submitted by week. We really understand that this blueprint ebook's only doing okay for us. Now, if we go here, you can see there's different spikes with our just general ebook. So on week 9, 2018, that was our high at 109 form submissions. So we can go ahead and nail that down further and say, okay, why is this one working better than this other one? Is it because it's been on the website for longer? What might be the cause? Is there a bad landing page? You can really go ahead and drive down further and really understand how are we getting these leads? Are these leads coming in? From the very least, we know at least contacts are going ahead and submitting for this form or a new lead. 109 potential new leads could have come in on the 9th week of 2018. So again, it allows that marketing team to go in and say, no, listen, here's all of our leads. We don't have to go spend the next 3 days trying to prove our worth to you. So a couple different pieces there for you to look at. I've got a couple other dashboards, but I do just want to send a reminder that if you want to really go more in depth on data analytics, with ClickDimensions as well as traditional CRM data, Crimson's definitely your team to go ahead and work with on that. They're fantastic with creating dashboards and analytics. There was a really cool piece that I saw from them that they actually put a timeline in a profile contact record, so you can actually see when they touch points were, including ClickDimensions touch points on that timeline. So there's some really cool things you can do with that data. So a couple of other dashboards that we can take a look at. Say you're running webinars, for example. So with ClickDimensions, we integrate with GoToWebinar, WebEx, Eventbrite, Cvent. We can go in and say, okay, what webinars are being run and who's being submitted into these. So this isn't a fantastic dashboard, but we can see our weekly webinar registrants, who they are they leads, are they contacts? Again, trying to qualify or quantify those new leads that are coming in. So there's a variety of things you can do with that. And really go from there. And the last one I want to show you, I just have to find it, is just regular activity by search visits. So we can go ahead and see where our visits are coming in from. Are they from Bing ads, Google ads, Google search ads, again, visit Bing ads, and are they identified or individual people? What are their visits by day? And you can really break down these analytics. So it's very powerful for you to be able to do that. You can also go in and take a look at Power BI. So one thing I do want to point out with ClickDimensions is we are compatible with Power BI. You don't have to create another connector. Rather, we have a token that goes directly into it, and it starts filtering that data in for you. So I'm just going to sign in real quick. And you can see a sample dashboard that we have. Again, this is something that Crimson can help you with as well. So I can go in and take a look, and we can go in and look at a full dashboard. And this is a sample dashboard, but we can see our visits and how they're visiting, whether through search engine, direct traffic, we don't know, or an email. What are the referring types? Are they just direct search through ClickDimensions, or is it through Google, .co.uk, whatever it might be, through Canada, the Netherlands? We can see our visits by location. So we can go into this and really hammer in further. So I really like this one. It's a hotspot. And it's great for a global company as well as for a company that's really working across the UK in general. So you can see we can zoom in quite a bit, and no one's in real northern Canada. But if we go across the pond, as we'd say, we can go into the UK and really pinpoint exactly what people are looking at, right? So we can go and say, okay, here's our hotspot for the Isle of, right? We can see, Isle of Angsley, Conwy. I'm really butchering every name that I'm pulling up here. But point being is we can see how many IP addresses are visiting the website at any given point in time in the last 30 days from each different area. So we can go up all the way up here. We can see Array. We have one person visiting from Array. So you can really break it down any way you like to, on a global perspective, on a countrywide perspective, on even a zip code perspective or postal code perspective. So you can really break it down any way you want to. But this is just the power of the analytics. At the end of the day, we're bringing in all of your visits, every interaction with an email, every submission of a form, submission of a survey, any webinar they're attending that you've integrated with GoToWebinar, WebEx, Eventbrite, Cvent, SMS communications. It's a variety of things that you can take a look at and really quantify the effectiveness of it. Now, if you really want this all in one consolidated area, we can put it into a CRM campaign. So I'm going to pull up a CRM campaign here, and then once I go through this, I'm going to definitely revert back to Mark, see if he has anything to add to it. But really what I wanted to do with emphasizing this half-hour session was just to talk about how effective really this data is for the marketing team as well as for the sales team. Sales team's going to be able to utilize this. At the end of the day, they can go into, for example, my record and see when I open an email, what pages I went to on the website. So when they call me, they can really direct the conversation in what I'm interested in. From a marketing perspective, you don't have to, one, communicate any of this information over to sales. They should be able to access it. But on the flip side as well, you can go ahead and quantify and say, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? how can we improve? So if I go in here, I'm going to pull up an ebook campaign that we ran, and we can take a look at this and really break it down if you want to. So one thing I do want to point out from a CRM perspective, these views are completely customizable. So we have a few snapshot iframes in there that has data from ClickDimensions, but that being said, you can go ahead and pull different ones that you might feel are more relevant. So if I go in here, we can see again, this ebook campaign was launched in 2016. In our case, we took a look at 5 different CRM, or I should say ClickDimensions campaign automations. We can also scroll down here and see the web content based on forms. So we had 3 forms associated to this campaign. And then we can start to see our visits by month. So you can see in July, we only had 2 visits related to this particular campaign. All of these statistics are related to the CRM campaign that you associated it to. So the visits, as well as all of the leads and contacts that are coming in. So we can see any contact that's already in our system that submitted a form, as well as the leads. And we can also see anybody who is disqualified or qualified leads and who qualifies them. So you can really break it down any way you want to, but at the end of the day, we know exactly how many leads have come in related to that campaign. Again, the marketing team can prove their worth and say, hey, listen, we got 5,000 plus leads on here. Don't know why the sales team is saying that we don't have any leads. You know, it's really providing that value at a more effective rate for you. So you don't have to go in and do that research. Rather, you can just pull the data as need be. It's on-demand data for you. Now, again, this is completely customizable to add different iframes. That being said, if I hit that drop-down tab, anything you see in this red color, this is ClickDimensions data related to the CRM campaign. So for example, if I want to see all the page views related to it, I can see each individual anonymous and identified page view related to that CRM campaign. Or maybe I want to go in and say, okay, I want to see any, I don't know, maybe there's an event, no events. But we can go in and see any posted form related to it. Again, these are forms that are generating leads for us. So we can see each individual lead that's come in. We can see all the leads that have come through and what has been qualified, what has not been. So it's really quite powerful to be able to have all these different pieces at your fingertips and really get that understanding there. So again, this is just a very high level tip on ClickDimensions, that Power FB. One thing I do want to show that's actually really quite nice, and it's great for the sales team, I forgot about it, was you can actually take a look and see your active contacts that visited today. So my active contacts have visited today. Basically what that is, it's our CRM tracking. So you have each individual visit by a person. Now, if you own that contact record in CRM, that is an advanced find that's used to pull that contact directly in. So if I own the contact record and they visit the website, it's going to show me in real time. So from a sales perspective, if I have prospects visiting the website, I'm going to call them and I'm going to try to get their attention while I know they're on the website, or if they've just looked at it because in the forefront of their mind. We're trying to capture them and jump that sales process. But the flip side too, these different pieces of data are going to help you with that next sale, with that cross-sell, upsell style piece. So, I do apologize. This was definitely a shorter session, but it really is that analytics. Again, there's so much you can do with CRM as far as building out those analytics, and using ClickDimensions data is going to allow that marketing team to succeed, improving the success of the marketing effort, as well as help that sales team really understand that buying habit and how we can get that next sale or that first sale against a prospect or customer. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back to Mark, see if he has anything else to highlight. And that was the third session, so our 3 of 3. I know Mark's has probably recorded all these and we'll put them up on their site. So if you want to have a demo, full nuts, soup to nuts, ClickDimensions demo, please reach out to Mark and his team and we can definitely coordinate something.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. That was really good. I think we've been a ClickDimensions partner now for a number of years, and in our view, it's the best solution for marketing teams if they want to have that marketing automation suite. And I think if there are quite a few tools out there now. It's quite interesting. I went to a business-to-business marketing conference just this week, and there are something like 7,000 different products now that marketers can use, marketing technology tools, and that's set to grow to beyond 10,000 different tools within the next few years. It's a ridiculous amount of different technologies, and I think it's clearly overwhelming. And I think the beauty with ClickDimensions is that it pulls together, so it knits together so closely with your CRM tools that your sales team are using, that you are able to generate that insight. Dan, just you touched on Power BI, and clearly when you go into Power BI, we use it here, and obviously we develop things for our customers as well. It appears to me to be a very rich tool set for presenting data in a really engaging way, and I think that's something that really appeals to many marketers. Is that something you find many ClickDimensions customers are using?
Yeah.
What?
You know, it is. We added it for basically for that reason. People were asking for it. A lot of our customers asked for it, and at the end of the day, you're right. It's a very rich and powerful tool that you can use with traditional sales data. Now, at this point, everything comes in from ClickDimensions. You can pull it right into Power BI, so you can actually hold that against your sales data and really make a very nice dashboard or multiple dashboards within Power BI. So, you know, that's why I encourage, if you have Power BI, definitely utilize it. Have Crimson help you with that. If you don't have it, might be something worth looking into, especially with being able to add that marketing functionality in there.
Yeah, and I mean, I've personally used Power BI before, and it's extraordinary what you're able to create with. I don't have a mathematics or analytics background. I'm a marketer, like many of the people listening to this webinar, and I've found it to be a really powerful tool. I think the other great thing, we use it internally, is that once you create those dashboards, you're able to present that data on your through the Power BI mobile app as well. So, and you know, given certain user rights, you're able to share that data around. So yeah, very powerful element. I can understand why ClickDimensions aren't looking to reinvent the wheel there, but are in fact sort of leveraging what the tool set Microsoft are already providing. Just another interesting insight as well. Again, back from this conference that I went to, the CMO of Microsoft UK was presenting, and something he was sharing was that a lot of his team now, when he's looking to recruit, he's looking for marketers that have a really strong analytical background. Rather than necessarily having this huge creative flair, they see that as something that they increasingly will outsource to creative agencies. So the way they envisage their team moving forward is that their team will be digging into the kind of data that the likes of ClickDimensions is able to create and pull together, and then provide that insight to a creative agency externally that can then come up with creative ways to be able to present, you know, that information back to the market. So I think it's the way it's going. You know, data science is clearly an area that's growing. We're seeing that too. No, thank you, Dan. Really interesting as always. I think that's pretty much it for this series. We are continuing to run these webinars. We will be running one next month on just an update on Dynamics 365. So Microsoft have their annual partner event over in the US. I'm guessing you guys are going to be there, Dan, at that.
I'm flying out Sunday. I'll be there.
Oh, great. Okay, well, a few of our team will be there too. So we'll be getting some updates from Microsoft as to what they're doing, what they've been working on, and what they're planning to do over the coming 12 months. So we'll be offering customers an update on that on the 14th of August. So look out for the invitation to that webinar soon. If anything about ClickDimensions has really piqued your interest and you'd like to learn more about how that could work in your organization, either give your account manager a call or drop me a line or give me a call. There's my mobile on the screen at the moment, and you know, we can always get Dan and his team involved in that too if necessary. Crimson does have a YouTube channel. We will be sharing this video on YouTube, but we're building quite an asset base there now, quite a lot of videos on there. So just have a search for Crimson on Crimson and search Crimson and Microsoft or ClickDimensions, and I dare say you'll find us pretty quickly just through those terms. So I think that's it for us, Dan. Thank you very much over the last few weeks. You've provided loads of great insight, and we've learnt loads about what the power of ClickDimensions and Dynamics 365.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. And thanks for letting us highlight a little bit of the ClickDimensions product for y'all. Again, that was just those 3 sessions, really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to utilizing marketing automation. So definitely reach out and we can do a full demo.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you all soon. Take care.